Hey everybody, welcome back to Guys Night Lab. I'm Jesus, and welcome to another edition of 12 Days of Christmas. Today we're going to take things a little back and pull a little 180. We've done a couple Christmas horror movies and some intense stuff like that. So we're going to actually pull 180 and talk about a movie that came out last year that I really, really love. And I took my kids to see it, and they really loved it. And that movie is called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever stars Judy Greer, Pete Holmes, Lauren Graham, Molly Bell Wright. And it has to do with a story of this lady. Her name is Grace, and she gets to do the Christmas pageant at her church. And it takes place in the 70s. And I guess the traditional lady that does the Christmas play every year got injured, and so then Grace got the nod to take over and do the play. And so the play is very traditional, very orchestrated, very kind of just rinse and repeat, but it's just very polished. And so, nothing's really going to change this year. It's not like Grace is anything different. She's a little younger. I think she's like in her 40s, where the other lady was in her probably like 60-ish, almost 70, and just kind of wanted it more tradition, stuff like that. But the problem, and where the lies of the movie, is the Herdmans. The Herdmans are three kids who are very just, they're siblings, and they are, they're just kind of looked at as like the worst kids in the town. And the town's kind of just like a Midwestern suburban town, and they're kind of the movie takes place in the 70s, so it's kind of like a narration, and it's kind of talking about like the best, a lady's talking about her childhood and the best Christmas pageant ever. And so it's a narration that takes place in the 70s, and the Herdmans are just very they're like the worst kids in town, and they are from probably 6-7 years old to probably 13-ish, somewhere around there, 13, 14. But they, it shows them in the beginning, like, they're cussing, and it's obviously muted and voiced over, and you can see that like they cuss and they steal and they're rowdy and they hit, and they're just, as you would say, delinquents. They could be bullies, they could be like that. And so for whatever reason, they kind of live into that. They know that they're not liked. The kids kind of have this reputation, and they kind of feed into it, and live their lives that way. But one Sunday, they find out that there's snacks. And so the other thing is, like, the Herdmans are pretty poor. They're kind of like very low income. The parents or the mom isn't even shown in the movie. It's expressed that she works at night. Like I said, this is the 70s, so they're kind of on their own. But they find out that there's snacks at church. And so they go to church one Sunday and to get snacks or free snacks, and then they find out about the pageant and the play, and they decide they want to be in it. And so then, of course, they're kind of going about it and disrupting the play and asking a lot of questions and going crazy, and things just seem out of control. And that's pretty much the movie. The movie goes by the basis of like they're ruining the play, and they're changing it, and because they're so rowdy and crazy and cussing and delinquents and stuff like that, they're disrupting tradition, they're disrupting normalcy, they're disrupting just peace. And it shows in the movie that there's patience to be held with these kids. But what I love about this movie is just the message it has. Whether you're Christian or religious or not, it has a really strong spiritual Christian message, and I love that. It talks about the nativity scene, about Jesus's birth and stuff like that, and it just shows how the Christians that just kind of got accustomed and used to the tradition, not to say they got bored, but they just got mundane with the idea of Jesus' birth and stuff like that. And that kind of came across in the sense of like, they just wanted perfection. They wanted the idea of like, we want this play to be perfect, but it wasn't. And that's what the whole Jesus' birth, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't, there was a lot of things that were complicated and it had to happen. But in the movie, you see how their disruption and the herdmen's asking questions and doing things different, that they made the play better. It's very cute. It's very innocent. It's fun. Like I said, a lot of spiritual messages, and it's heartwarming. A lot of funny moments, a lot of heart in this movie. So yeah, definitely check it out. If you are Christian, religious, spiritual, you'll love this movie. It's safe for the kids. It's a good family movie to watch. A lot of good message. Definitely teared up in a lot of moments, because it's got a lot of heart, a lot of just spirit in it, and I love that. And just talking about Jesus's birth, and why we celebrate that and everything, and just kind of seeing the herdmans understand the meaning and the importance of Jesus's birth, which is great. And that's what the whole movie is about. If you're not religious and you don't like that stuff, maybe not for you, but it's still a great movie to check out. I wouldn't just like shut it down and be like, oh, this is stupid. It's a good movie. It's got heart. It's got just a good, wholesome feeling, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the one thing I did like about this, like I said, if you're not religious and you don't like the church, you don't like church people because they're hypocrites or who knows what, I do like this movie because it exposes that idea of like, hey, like some of these people are hypocrites. They are playing this perfect, like, hey, everything needs to be perfect and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not life. That's not how people is. And there's a line in the movie where Grace says, Jesus loves everybody, not just perfect people, but there are no perfect people, but not just people that present perfect, there are polished, but everybody, even the herdmans who are quote unquote delinquents, or not to the idea of what people think. And I love that, because whether you've been hurt by the church or not, it's not the church that is seeking a relationship with you. It's Jesus, and that's what I love about this movie. The church is supposed to be your community, and that's what it said in the movie, that they found a community in the church. And I've been burned by the church plenty of times, hundreds of times, and it's frustrating, but that doesn't mean that my love for Jesus isn't going to be any different. So anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, because I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. And yeah, for 12 Days of Christmas, definitely check out the best Christmas pageant ever. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Don't forget, the whole point of the story is that Jesus was born for the herdmans as much as he was for us. We'd be missing the point of all of it if I turned them away.